Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry we had a few technical issues this morning, so we're starting a minute or two late. But welcome to Mindful Movement. It is Tuesday morning, and today we are live with Becca, our yoga instructor, for a gentle yoga session. And hi, Becca. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, I'm going to get out of your way and let you take over.
All right, great. Well, we do want to just remind you, as we usually do, that we recommend that you have checked with a physician before beginning this or any other exercise program that's new to you, just to make sure that it's safe and appropriate for you to participate. I'll be giving you, as I always do, lots of variety and options so that you can make choices based on what does feel right and best for your body. So we're going to start our practice from a chair and then use our chair as a source of support if we need it when we come up to standing. All right, and we're going to do just a good all-around practice today, just to get our whole body moving and do a little bit of something for all of our main systems. So let's sit tall to start with. Try to get those feet flat on the floor. You can be in shoes if you want, or you can be barefoot. It's a warmer day here than it's been, so I'm in bare feet for the first time in a while. So all right, let's sit tall and just take a moment to place a hand on your chest, right up near your collarbones, and then another hand on your abdomen, just the soft, squishy part of your abdomen. And let it be soft and squishy. Don't hold it in tight, right? All right, and I just want you to feel your breath. We're going to take a couple of breaths here and try to just make them a little bit deeper and fuller, keeping it to a comfortable intensity for you, okay? So breathe in and feel those hands sort of move or expand outward as you inhale, and then as you exhale, feel that area of your body drop and soften. All right, so a couple more just breaths into your body, into your hands on your body. One more breath in and out. Good. All right, let's just run through all the major joints and get things moving, right? So let's start with the head and neck. Sit tall and turn the head side to side. And as we make movements for the body, it applies everywhere. Move in a way or to an edge that feels comfortable for you. For some people, that may moving into some feeling of stretch, right? So there could be some sensation there. For other people, maybe you want to avoid feeling any tightness or any of that kind of pressure, okay? Do avoid anything that's sharp or painful. All right, now let's tilt the head side to side. A little different movement for the neck. Right, tilting the ear towards the shoulder, right and left. All right, and then back to the center. Let's bring the chin down and up, a little nodding motion, and that tilting the head back is a way of just checking in with what's that range of motion like for you, tilting the head back. You can always stop, not go very far if there's a limitation. All right, now let's put it all together, chin towards the chest, and do a little roll. Drag that chin over towards the shoulder, maybe tip the head back, maybe not, and then drag it across the chest over to the other shoulder again, maybe with a little tip back, and then go back and forth a couple times. If you feel like exploring, a bigger or more complete circle, you might take that head all the way around a couple times. All right, and then come back to center, lift the head back up onto your shoulders, and then let's pick those shoulders up, roll them up towards the ears, and then squeeze them back and down. And you can stick to this motion, right? Focusing mainly on the shoulders, just letting the arms come along, or you can start to pick up your arms as well and make a little bigger movement. So maybe the elbows start to trace some circles here to the side. Could be big, full arm circles or sweeps. So whatever movement's feeling good for your body today, we just want to get things going in the shoulders and in the arms and even in the upper back. One more circle. Good. And then with your arms down beside you, turn the palms forward. Open and close the fist a few times. Get the finger joints moving. Good. Now let's make a fist and pull that fist up towards the shoulder. So we're bending the elbows, bend the wrist as well. Maybe pick the elbows up beside your head or just go as far as you can. And then let's unfold this. So drop down, open the elbows, open the hands, reach the fingers back, swing, squeeze the arms back. All right, and then let's do that again. Fist, fold at the elbows, maybe bring the elbows up, and then unfold, open out, spread out, reach back. One more time. And back. Good. Shake those hands out, circle the wrists now. So we move those wrists a little bit differently. All right, and then let's get the trunk involved while we still continue to do some movement with the arms. So taking a side stretch, you can reach that arm all the way up, or maybe you want to rest it on your head, or you could even leave the arm out of it. Just let it be at your side or on your chest and then come back to center. So we're trying to get that side body to stretch, to move the spine in this side to side direction. So let's go a couple more times back and forth. Try to stay nice and grounded in your hips. So as I'm reaching up and over with my ribs, my waist, and my arm, I'm really pressing down with the hip. One more time to each side. All right, good. Now let's move it on down and get our legs a little bit more warmed up. Start with the feet apart, knees open wide, and just do a little bit of wagging, I sometimes call it. The knees open and close. So just wag the knees back and forth so that we're rotating, pivoting here around the hip joints. Good. All right, now leave them open. We're going to take one leg at a time. I'm going to drop my knee in, sort of like what we just did, but just one leg, and then swing it across, pick it up as high as I can, and back out to where it was. All right, so the other knee, drop it in, and then swing it across, pick it up, make a big circle. Now I'm trying to keep my pelvis and my belly and my chest all facing forward, right? So I'm not moving there. I can hold on to the chair if that helps me be a little more stable. All right, a couple more of these circles or sweeps for our legs. Get the hip joints warmed up mainly. Yeah, let's do 4 more of these. 2 more. Last one. All right, leave the feet open wide, leave the knees open wide. You can adjust though if they're a little too wide. We're going to fold forward, loosening up our back. So I'm folding forward, letting my hands come to my knees, or maybe sliding them down towards my feet. I could even drop them to the floor in the middle, and then come on back up. All right, so folding forward, you take it as far as you want to go, right? No certain distance you're supposed to try to make. You're just loosening up this fold of your body here at the hips and into the lower back. Let's go a couple more times. If you're feeling comfortable enough to get a little more rounded, you could try letting your head drop, letting the spine get into a little bit more of a rounded or a C shape if that's comfortable for you. It's okay if you want to keep it more of a flat back as well. Last 3 times, forward and up. One more. Good. Back up tall. Walk the feet back into the middle. All right. Now we're going to warm up our last couple of joints down here in the leg, the knee joints and the ankle and feet. So let's start with one knee, bend and straighten. Make that relatively slow back and forth so that you can really, check that you're going, as far as you comfortably can with control. So I'm really pulling back and then trying to get, all the way straight or almost all the way straight. So it may be that the knee is, not able to straighten all the way from this position if your hamstring is tight. All right, now let's switch to the other leg. Bend and straighten at that other knee. Notice how it feels. Maybe it's pretty similar to the other side. Maybe there's some big differences in your 2 knees. These are good things just to take note of. It's a lot of great, it's good information for our nervous system and the way it connects to and helps maintain our body. All right, last one of those. Now, this is for both knees. It's also a little bit for the ankles. All right, so I've got my, heels underneath my knees, maybe slightly forward. All right, I'm going to pick up the feet, right? So I'm just up on the heels, and then I'm going to see if I can swivel my feet out without turning my kneecaps out. All right, and then swivel the feet in and go back and forth again. I'm trying to make sure I'm not moving my whole leg, right? So if I put my hands right here on my knees, that helps me to notice and keep them still, right? So it's just the lower leg that's moving, but it is moving right there at the connection of the knee joint. So it's this little bit of rotation that we have there. All right, and you can feel the fronts of the ankles and the shins getting a little tired. All right, let's relax. And then pick up one foot and circle that ankle. So you can give that ankle some nice mobilization, especially after those lifts of the fronts of the feet. Go the other way. And then let's switch sides. Take that other foot and ankle and give it some slow, big circles. Notice how this feels. And go the other way. Good, and then release. Okay, we've all warmed up the whole body. We've moved pretty much all of our joints in some manner. Let's stand up. We're going to use the chair initially as sort of a little platform for our hands. This position could also be replicated with hands and knees on the ground. So if you prefer to get down to the floor and be on hands and knees, you could do it in that position. Or you could use the top of the chair if you need to be a little higher, maybe stand the other way, or you can use the seat of the chair. All right, that's where I'm going to be. All right, so I've got my hands down on the seat of the chair, my feet back a little bit underneath my hips. All right, and then let's move the spine a little more, rounding it into cat. So this is where I'm going to push down through my arms, tuck the chin, tuck the tail or the pelvis, right, and try to get nice and rounded. And then we try to go the opposite direction. Flatten the back out, lift the tailbone or the sitting bones, lift the chest. If you are standing, you're going to want to bend your knees probably for that part, or just let them be soft. All right, let's go back and forth a couple times to kind of just round out our nice warm up and get the spine moving a little bit more. All right. Now let's go ahead and take it to somewhere in the middle, right? So we're not arching, we're not rounding. Again, you may need your knees bent if you're standing, all right? So walk your feet close together if you are on your feet. And then let's take one leg back and try to reach back through that leg. Make the knee straight if you can, all right? Hold that leg up and try adding the opposite arm. Right, so I've got the other arm reaching up. I can take and rest it on the chair if I've got that nearby, or I can reach it out into space, right? So this is strengthening our back, working on our balance. All right, let's come down. All right, you can take a few more of those cat and cow movements if it feels good to your spine, rounding and flattening or arching a couple times. All right, and then let's take it to the other leg. Lift that other leg up. Oops, that's the same one. Other leg. And then the opposite arm when you're ready. Good, another 2 or 3 breaths here. All right, and then come on down with that hand and leg. And again, a few times rounding and in and out of cat and cow. All right, now we're going to come up to standing. So just get yourself tall and on your feet. If you want your chair to be able to hold on to, you may want to take it around and use the back part of it so that it's taller and just easier to reach. You may not need to hold on to a chair, okay, in which case don't worry about it. All right, so we'll step back. We'll take a nice big step for the biggest one that you're comfortable with one leg. All right, bend the front knee and maybe a little more, get a little more into that lunge feeling, and see if you can get some weight equal on your front and your back leg. All right, so I'm not just lunging towards the front leg, right? And I'm not lingering here in my back leg. I'm trying to get that nice equal distribution of action there. All right, so strong legs, pushing into the floor. If you've got one hand free, just use one hand. If you've got both hands free, you can use both arms. I'm going to reach up, stretch up towards the ceiling, and then exhale and come back down. Let's do that with the breathing a couple more times. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and drop down. Inhale and reach up. Try to feel the sides of the rib cage open up and lengthen. One more time. And then down. All right, now we're going to take this position, and before we do the other side, we're just going to change to a different angle. All right, again, you can hold on to the chair if needed. I'm going to take that back leg and turn it a little bit more out. And I like to step it a little longer. That just feels more comfortable for me. But you may choose to do the opposite or stay where you were. All right, so now I've still got that front knee bent, but I've turned my pelvis, belly, chest a little more to the side. Really kind of on a diagonal for most of us. All right, now let's see if we can still get the equal weight in both legs. All right, so push equally into both. Again, if you've just got one arm free, reach it out long, parallel to the ground. If you've got both arms free, you can reach both of them. And then if you want to take some movement, one or both arms, stretch up towards the head, and then back down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, down. Two more. All right, now we're going to turn it back towards the front leg. All right, and let's all use our chair now, or it could be a wall, or you could even do down dog on the floor if you want, on the floor. All right, hands on the chair, walk back with both legs, and just stretch out nice and long through those arms, through the spine, through the backs of the hips. All right, and then we'll walk it in. We're going to do that whole sequence on the other side. Now, you might be fine right where you are. You don't have to face the camera, but it's a little better when I do. So I just turn myself around so I can do it facing the other way. All right, so I've got my other leg forward. I'm taking a nice long step back, right? However long feels comfortable. Bending that front knee. And really anchoring that back leg. So again, I'm trying to work on pushing equally into both legs. And that should center my torso, my trunk right in the middle. All right, this is called Warrior One, if you're curious about the yoga name for this pose. All right, so again, either both arms or just one arm if you're using one hand to hold on. Inhale, reach up, stretch up. Exhale, come down. Two more. Doing this movement with a nice big breath is a great way to help sort of, work on the mobility that helps you be able to take a deep breath. All right, now we pause and we're going to change it to Warrior Two. All right, this is our change in position. So I'm just turning my pelvis, adjusting that back leg by turning the toe a little more out to the side and maybe walking it a little longer or a little shorter if needed. And then check that you can put equal energy and action into both the front leg, the one with the bent knee, and the back leg. It's going to have straight knee. All right. And then one or both arms can reach out parallel. This is Warrior Two, right? So just a different version of warrior pose. And again, we'll do some breath and reach, both arms or one arm. Inhale up towards the sides of the head. Exhale and down. So remember, whatever distance you can travel is great. Maybe your reach stops, somewhere way further away from the head, right? Or maybe you're able to get those hands together on top. Whatever it is, make the movement you can make. Two more. One more. All right, now we're all going to turn. We're going to see if we can, again, take the chair for some support as we stretch it out into a downward dog-like shape, bent at the hips, maybe softness at the knees, maybe a little movement here. So you might wiggle, the hips back and forth, or let the knee bend and straighten a couple times. Good, and then walk it in. Let's do just a little bit of strength work. We're going to combine two different sort of areas of the body, the calves, our lower legs, and then our glutes and quads with a little chair pose. So here's what you might want your chair to hold on to. Perfectly good idea. Up high on the balls of the feet, and then slowly drop them down. Once those heels hit, sit back and down into chair pose. Again, maybe hold on or maybe take the arms up. All right, we're going to do that 5 times total. Slow motion, slowly up, straight knees, rise onto the balls of the feet, come down slow, sit back and down into chair pose. Again, feel free to work on your balance or challenge your balance a little bit by maybe not holding on as closely or as tightly. Once you lower those heels, sit back and down into chair pose. Nice strong legs. You can take that as deep or as shallow as you want to. Up high on the tiptoes. Slowly down, drop the heels, sit back. One more time, up high. And drop the heels, sit back. And then back up. Good. All right, just stand and do a few heel kicks. Heel kick towards the bottom, towards your bottom, right? To get the little bit of a stretch out on those thigh muscles that we were just using there. All right, we're actually going to come back to a seat in the chair, finish up with a couple of stretches for the legs. The first one will be a turn. You'll turn your body sideways in the chair if you can, right? And then hold on to the back to be stable and see if you can drop your front knee down, right? Sometimes you have to walk it out to get it there, okay? Right? Sometimes you'll want to have your toes tucked. Some people might want to have the top of the foot down. All right, but I'm trying to square up to the side of the chair. This leg, this hip is kind of off the edge. That's why I hold on. And then a squeeze. If I tuck my buttock down, if I squeeze my buttock there, it starts to open up this front hip. If I walk my foot, my leg further back, it's usually going to be more stretch. So you can back it off as needed. And then maybe that front arm can reach up to assist with a little more stretch. Take a breath here, of course. And then release. Bring it back around to the front. Let's take that same leg that we were just stretching, right? So the leg that was in front, and let's cross it over to the other leg. So I've crossed my ankle. It could be down here on the shin, right? It could be up a little closer to the knee. It could be up above the knee. And if you bring your bottom foot in closer, that's going to be even higher and more intense on the stretch. So find the figure 4 angle position that works for you. Sit tall. Maybe lean into this a little bit. See how it feels. We're looking for stretch in the glute or the outer hip of that leg that's on top. Good. And then we're going to switch sides, but we're going to start with that lunge in the chair. Okay, so turn sideways. Hold on to the chair. Get that front leg down, hopefully in front with the knee pointing down, maybe pressing it a little more back. Squeeze that glute to get some activation there to open up the front, and then maybe add that reach up of the arm. Good. And then let's release, turn this back around to the front. We'll finish up by taking this side to figure 4. So that same leg that you were just stretching in the lunge, cross it at the ankle, at the shin, maybe up above the knee. Sit tall. Maybe lean into it. Notice that sensation in your body. Maybe even, compare to how this side feels to the other side. Good. And then let's release it, uncross, and let's just sit tall a moment. Check back in right where we started. Place a hand on the chest, a hand on the belly. Breathe into your body. It's a great opportunity to send some gratitude to your body as well. Grateful that it got you up this morning, got you here to mindful movement, and you're able to use and move your body with me today. So thanks so much for joining us. Apologies again for our little bit of a delayed start. I'm glad you stuck with us. Let us know if you have any comments, requests. We love to hear from you. And we hope you'll join us again next time on Mindful Movement Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Central Time. Oh, I think you're muted, Jamie.
I was. Becca, thank you so much. As always, that was great, especially for those of us who sit a lot during the day. That is so helpful for us to have this time to stretch and move our bodies a little bit. So again, as Becca said, sorry for the late start, but we're glad that y'all stuck with us. And Becca, we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, Jamie. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right, everyone. Join us every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for Mindful Movement. And we will see you next week. And remember, you can always watch this again on our Facebook page or on YouTube. Have a great day.